Hello everyone, I'm Jacqueline Clarke-Mapp. I'm the chair of the Ethnic Minority Staff Network here at Sussex Partnership NHS Foundation Trust. I'm also delighted to be the director of this year's Ethnic Minority Staff Network Festival celebrating Black History Month. Today, I'm delighted to continue conversations with people who have made an invaluable contribution to British society and the wider world. And today it's the turn of Benjamin Chitambira. Ben, welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming along. Now, Ben, I need to read your bio, some of your bio out so that I can do justice to it. So Ben has over 24 years experience as a neurophysiotherapist who's led a wide range of teams, both abroad and in the UK, including over 16 years at East Kent Hospital, University NHS Foundation Trust. Before coming to England, Ben studied and worked as a lecturer in Zimbabwe. Ben is a sought-after reviewer and regularly appears on the international stage at global scientific conferences. With that impressive bio, Ben, thank you so much for finding time in your busy schedule to speak to us today.
It's my pleasure.
Ben, I had the privilege of seeing a very short snippet of you on a BBC interview recently, and I just wanted to find out more. But before we talk about why you were on TV, Ben, can you tell us, how did you become a physiotherapist?
So I was reading a novel because I like reading literature as well. And there was this story of a ballerina who got injured, and it was at a point where she could lose her career. And then a physiotherapist helped her to recover, go through the rehabilitation process until she was able to go back to her career. And that really inspired me. And I thought, I want to do that. I want to be able to be someone who can restore hope to someone who has lost hope. I want to be able to give people hope that at least they can go back to the things they love that they used to do. And that really made up my mind, and I decided I'm going to be a physio to do that.
Wonderful. So what led you to setting up your practice in the UK?
I have always wanted to research, to innovate, and right when I was in high school, I always believed I could contribute something new, and that has always been at the back of my mind. And when I looked at how best can I do this, I looked at, yes, information technology is much better in a developed country. And I thought, to achieve that goal, I've got to be somewhere where information technology is readily available. And so the UK was an easy choice.
So now we come to the bit where I actually saw you on TV. So it's about an app that you've invented, and it's called the Optokinetic Stimulation App, OKCS for short. How did you come about inventing that, and what does it do?
So it's an app which induces a sensory conflict in the brain between the visual systems and the balance system, which has got sensors in our inner ears. And that's how we kind of orient ourselves to know where we are in space. So most people don't realize that's done in the ears. They just think ears are for hearing. So what tends to happen is strokes, traumatic brain injuries, they kind of disrupt the processing of that in the brain. And one of the consequences is usually that people, when they become paralyzed, they lose that awareness of the space on the side that has been paralyzed. So when I started, the evidence was that if you moved lines in front of people, they become aware of the paralyzed side. So I had a patient who was paralyzed, was ignoring their paralyzed side. And I was, I've got to use evidence. It's evidence-based practice nowadays. And I designed on a piece of paper, laminated it with lines, started moving lines in front of the patient. And yes, they started being aware of their paralyzed arm and leg. But what I didn't expect was to see the paralysis reversing. It became a pattern. I started noticing patient after patient who they are recovering from. So that's how my research started. I started to focus on that. Oh, I think this is something new in terms of reversing paralysis. And I never looked back since then.
Wow. So an unintended consequence has just opened up this hope.
Yeah, that's what research is all about. Science is about making observations, seeing patterns in your observations, making deductions, and then testing those deductions.
It's fantastic. And you started the conversation by saying you wanted to build hope for other people.
Yes.
Yeah, fantastic. So can you say a little bit more about the difference that these interventions have actually made for people? Mental well-being, families, tell us a bit more about that.
It's even more exciting now that I work with people who have had strokes for years, traumatic brain injuries for years, and they kind of get to a point where they are told you've reached your optimal potential. And I take them from there and they start on the app, they start following my protocol, which goes with the app, and things start changing. And what you notice is as things start changing, it's not just change in the patient, the whole family, it's like a ton of bricks has been lifted off the whole family. And then when the patient starts reintegrating into society, they start going to their original clubs, which they had stopped going to for years. Their network just starts opening up and expanding again. And it really does a lot of good for their mental health. And you notice that the moment improvements start happening, you say, oh, so the life of this family has really been caught in a time warp. They've just been standing still around that, and then they start moving forward. And I think that's one of the rewards I get just dealing with families and seeing the whole family just being lifted up like that.
Wow. So that hope is right across the support networks of the individual.
Yes, it does. It involves even the caring team that cares for that person. When they start seeing improvements as well, it lightens up the load for them as well. So it affects every aspect of their social life.
Yeah, and what a great way to encourage people as well and then build on that.
Yeah, I think it's very important because when we sort of tell people, this is it, this is how it's like you're putting a dark blanket over them, and yeah, they take years to try and digest that. But when they start realizing, oh, yes, things move on, science moves on. This is how things used to be, but now there are other options. Oh, now I'm learning to walk again when I didn't think I could ever be able to walk, and that just kind of lifts a whole sort of weight off their shoulders and the family's shoulders. So yeah, it's really good. And when they start going back to their societies and mixing up with their society members, everyone in the society becomes excited to have them back, and they also want to be part of their process, the real process. So yeah, it's really good to see that.
Wonderful. So cheering them on. Really
yes.
Great. So I'm going to read out some testimonials, if I may, Ben, from some of the people that you've helped to support to build that hope and that recovery. So we have someone here that says, no words can ever be able to thank you enough for all the help you've given to our family. You've given our family back. It's truly wonderful. You're amazing. And that's something for you, Ben. And you've done a miracle on my husband. And another one saying, we've overcome the frustration, and now I can walk with my stick with some supervision. Thanks, Ben. Before I started Ben's therapy with the app, I couldn't do much for myself. Now I can find myself using my dominant arm again. These are just wonderful, wonderful, tangible testimonials, aren't they? How does that make you feel, Ben?
It's end of says, yes, all the hard work that I've put in, all the years I've kind of slowly built this up, it's been worthwhile. All the challenges I've met during the process, it all makes it all worthwhile. And just to hear people say, it's not like there's no bang moment. It just happens so gradually. And then I notice, I couldn't do that. I'm doing this. How is this happened? They say it's just a gradual process, and they start noticing, now I can do that I've been able to do for years. Now I can do that. So it's just as things progress in their brain, they start just noticing their boundaries extending and just noticing the changes building up. And then when they just tell you that, it's been worthwhile.
Wonderful. So we know as a trust, a mental health and learning disability trust, we know the significance of good physical well-being and the connection with mental health. So this is so powerful. So with this now era where the digital space is really coming into its own because of the pandemic and other things, this is a real moment and opportunity now for inventions such as yours. So Ben, what next?
So biggest challenge for me is to get this widely adopted, and because I want this to start as early as possible. At the moment, what the app does is it reverses years of people having become rigid and fixed arms and legs. Takes years to reverse that and then get movements back. Whereas if you can start early, you prevent the stiffening in the first place, because you just go from a straight recovery, getting your movements, so you don't get to develop rigid arms and legs first. So the next part of the plan is where now I'm applying for funding to be able to do randomized controlled trials and then get this adopted as early as possible so people can benefit early on.
Yeah. So Ben, you hail from Zimbabwe.
Yes.
We're celebrating Black History Month. How was your ethnic minority background shaped your work? What have been the challenges around that, and what do you think have been the advantages around that?
So the challenges, I think, especially if you're coming into another culture, is obviously you've got to sort of learn the culture, integrate into that culture. And I'm glad I had a team that really helped me do that. And as soon as I felt comfortable and I started sort of noticing the gaps and started innovating, bringing change slowly in, because again, you've got to bring change slowly so that it fits into what's going on. So I started making those little changes, and as well taking advantage of any courses which helped me as well to kind of fill the gaps I was noticing and just making adjustments. So even early on, the adjustments and changes I was making, from comments from my colleagues, I knew I was already making an impact. And that also helped build my confidence as well. That's when my research started blossoming as well. And there were challenges in bringing in new knowledge. Some people feel challenged by that. And it's something I had to go through and just working. But what I tended to do is not focus on the negatives. The main driver is the patient and the family. They are the ones who want to get better.
Yeah.
So that's what I focused on. It's got to be a right reason for why you're doing it. And does it resonate with the whole system? Because the whole system wants change for the patient. And I was lucky because I had a consultant who really supported me during the start of my research. And I think the first patient I treated said to the consultant the following morning, "Oh, I don't know what he's done, but look, I'm moving my arm and leg." And the consultant was really taken up by that and felt it's something that's working. It needed to be pursued. And he went and to London, talked with one professor there and said, "Oh, my physio is doing something." And the professor was from another ethnic minority group. And he came down from London to Ashford and came into the stroke unit where I worked. And he asked me and said, "Talk me through what you're doing." And by then it was not an app, it was a laminated piece of paper. So I talked through and he said, "Do you know, this works and I know why it works, but you don't know. You haven't done enough reading." It doesn't matter even if you start something on your own, you will always have people who start noticing and observing. And when you're making a contribution, always think the audience is not just your local audience. The world is a big audience, and you will have some people who will listen, and then your audience builds from there.
Wonderful. Ben, there was so much in that. Your single-minded focus on purpose, your determination, your willingness to learn and grow and develop. Someone coming alongside you, eminent professor coming alongside you and guiding you, and you actually processing some of the negative comments that you got from elsewhere, but then reframing that, looking at that with fresh eyes. So some resilience there on your part, and really keeping an eye on the greater good and actually what this is all about: patient care and support for family, friend, carers. I don't know if I've captured that.
Yeah,
well,
that's the essence. That's what it is all about. And because once you sort of focus on that, you can overcome any sort of obstacle in the way, because you know ultimately that is the most important thing. And that when that proves itself, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. That just proves itself. I had someone who had a stroke 18 years ago, rigid all arms, rigid all legs, and they had tried private services as well. And the minute they saw the BBC article, they were on the phone and started the app. Within 2 weeks, one half of the body was moving. And just this week, the right arm started moving as well. So now I'm looking at they will be learning to walk again after 18 years.
Wow, that's huge. That is huge for anybody, isn't it? A family. So Ben, we're coming to the end. Again, I could speak to you for all day to hear about this, but can you just give us in one sentence, how would you encourage people from ethnic minority backgrounds?
The most important thing is to support each other, share ideas for innovation, because when I talk with my peers from minority groups, what I notice is there's so much in terms of innovation there, so much. But sometimes there's that lack of sort of building each other, sharing ideas, having a sort of a platform where you can encourage each other. And that's very important. Share ideas. There's a lot of innovation. I notice, I hear a lot of innovation, but I think people are not confident enough to support each other, share those ideas, build each other up. Innovation is diverse, so you can innovate even in your diversity. You can still sort of push ideas, push boundaries, and share those boundaries with others. And you don't have to limit yourself and say, oh, because I'm from the ethnic minority group, I can't build my ideas. The best thing to do is, yes, look at what's against you. What current are you going to be going against? Don't dive in and start swimming head on against that current. Think of how can I use this current to sort of push my goals? Because that current which is supposed to be against you, if you use it, that becomes your free energy to drive you.
Great. So Ben, thank you very much for your time. We wish you every success with what you're doing, because we know that means that patients and families will have that hope that you started off wanting to build, and it will be tangible in their lives. So the only ask I have of you is would you come back again and tell us how you're doing?
Yes, I would like to give feedback in terms of how things are. It's really exciting. It's an exciting period in my career. Each day, it's like, yeah, this is really worth it. And so it's been really a pleasure sharing that with you today.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ben. All the best to you.